जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी।
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 जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी।
जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी।
जय यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन।
यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन।
जमुना तीरा वनचारी।
यमुना तीरा वनचारी।
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी।
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे रामा राम राम हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 प्रभुपाद।
जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 प्रभुपाद।
जय जय गुरुदेव गुरुदेव गुरुदेव
जय
गुरुदेव।
जय गुरुदेव 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 गुरुदेव।
जय श्री राधा माधव भगवान की जय, लक्ष्मी नरसिंह भगवान की जय, गौर निताई की जय, जगत गुरु श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय, पतित पावन श्रीपाद महाराज की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
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 नारायणं नमस्कृत्य
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्।
ततो जयमुदीरये।
नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु
नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
भगवती उत्तमश्लोके
भगवती उत्तम श्लोके
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी।
भवति नैष्ठिकी।
Welcome everyone. Today we are going to study Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 16, Shloka number 36. Parmanu param mahatos.
परमाणु परमहता
Tamadyantantarvarti traviduraha.
तुमाद्यन्तान्तर्वर्ती त्रयविधुर
Adavante api cha sattvana.
आदावन्तेऽपि च सत्त्वानां
Yadruvam tadevantarale api.
यद्ध्रुवं तदेवान्तरालेऽपि
Parmanu param mahatos. Twamad Tvam adyantantarvarti traviduraha. Adavante api cha sattvanam. Yadruvam tadevantarale api. Translation and purport by Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai ho. You exist in the beginning, middle, and end of everything, from the most minute particle of the cosmic manifestation, the atom, to the gigantic universes and total material energy. Nonetheless, you are eternal, having no beginning, end, or middle. You are perceived to exist in these three phases, and thus you are permanent. When the cosmic manifestation does not exist, you exist as the original potency. Purport. The Brahma Samhita 533 says, Advaitam achyutam anadimanantarupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayauvanam cha Vedeshu Durlabham Adurlabham Atma Bhakto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, Krishna, who is the original person, absolute, infallible, without beginning, although expanded into unlimited forms, still the same original. The oldest and the person always appearing as a fresh youth. Such eternal, blissful, all knowing forms of Lord cannot be understood even by the best Vedic scholars, but they are always manifest to pure, unalloyed devotees. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has no cause, for He is the cause of everything. The Lord is beyond the working of cause and effect. The Lord is beyond the workings of cause and effect. He is eternally existing. In another verse, the Brahma Samhita says, Andantara istha paramanu jayantara istham. The Lord exists within the gigantic universe and within the atom. The descent of the Lord into the atom and the universe indicates that without His presence, nothing could factually exist. Scientists say that water is a combination of hydrogen and oxygen, but when they see a vast ocean, they are puzzled about where such a quantity of hydrogen and oxygen could have come from. They think that everything evolved from chemicals, but where did the chemicals come from? That they do not know. Since the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the cause of all causes, He can produce immense quantities of chemicals to create a situation for chemical evolution. We actually see that chemicals are produced from living entities. For example, a lemon tree produces many tons of citric acid. The citric acid is not the cause of the tree, rather, the tree is the cause of the acid. Similarly, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the cause of everything. He is the cause of the tree that produces the citric acid. Bijam mam sarva bhutanam. Devotees can see that the original potencies causing the cosmic manifestation are not in chemicals but in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for He is the cause of the chemicals. Everything is caused or manifested by the energy of the Supreme Lord. And when everything is annihilated or dissolved, the original potency enters the body of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, this verse says, Adav ante apicha sattvanam yad dhruvam tad evantarale api. The word dhruva means permanent. The permanent reality is Krishna, not this cosmic manifestation. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Aham adirhi devanam and mattah sarvam pravartate. Krishna is the original cause of everything. Arjuna recognized Lord Sri Krishna as the original person. Purusham Shashwatam Divyam Adi Devam Ajam Vibhum. And the Brahma Samhita describes him as the original person, Govindam Adi Purusham. He is the cause of all causes, whether at the beginning, at the end, or in the middle. Om Gyan Timirandasya Gyananjan Salakya Chakshurunmilitam Yen Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति स्वरूप दामोदर स्वामिनिति नामिने नमः सद्भक्तमनयः मणिपुर उद्भवाय च प्रभुपाद सद्वाणी प्रचार निरतायते जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे I like to offer my humble most obeisances to Guru Maharaj Ji, all the Acharya Varga, then to all the Maharajis, wonderful devotees present here in this audience, and everyone present here in this audience. Please bless me so that I can speak on this beautiful shloka. I will make an attempt to share whatever I could gather from this shloka. So, you exist in the beginning, middle, and end of everything, from the most minute particle of the cosmic manifestation, the atom, to the gigantic universes and the total material energy. Actually, um, when we say that Bhagwan exists in the beginning, middle, and end, actually, how is it possible? It is possible because he himself is the beginning, middle, and end. So he is himself the beginning, the middle, and the end. And actually, and he is in the atoms, and he is even in the universe. So how is it so? Because of his inconceivable potency, he can do that. We cannot do that because we are living entity with absolutely no aishwarya, no potency. So whatever potencies we have got, they have been actually given by Krishna based on our guna and karma. So they can be taken away and they can be restored. So because we are not able to do that, and because we identify ourselves with the material body, therefore we think that no one can do that. But God is not no one. God is God. He can insert, or rather, he can enter into the universe and then each and every atom and run them, run the atoms as well as run the universe. And we are just conscious of our own body, and but that is that itself not a miracle? We have entered in this body, and we have been entering body after body. Next life we will enter in some other body. and we are conscious of that body, so that that in itself is a kind of a inconceivable potency of the Lord, right? Because of the inconceivable potency of the Lord, we as Jivatma are conscious of this body, which is nothing but, as compared to the gigantic universe, it is negligible. This body is also part of the universe. So in all these universes, every universe has got many loka, right? And every loka have got these various bodies. These various bodies are also like loka, because in this body there is Hriday Kshetra. In Hriday Kshetra, the life years are flowing, and those life years, the Atma is floating, Atma is residing, and next to Atma is Paramatma. So this body is also lok. So we have entered into this body, Chalayaman lok. These bodies, like trees, their bodies are immovable. Hills, mountains, their bodies are immovable. Our bodies are movable. So this is all because of the potency of Krishna. So we are conscious of our body because Krishna wants us to be conscious of this much. And after death, then we will not be conscious of this body. The whole life we had been driving this body, we wherever we wanted, the body went that way. But after death, this body will be thrown into funeral pyre by our relatives. They will decide where to take it, how to, you know, how to burn it, and also. And then we will be entering into other bodies, not by our own will, by Krishna's arrangement. We will be entering into other body, another body, and then by Krishna's potency only, the consciousness will be then arranged. We will then start, being conscious of the next body, and in this way. So all these arrangements, they are actually being done by Krishna only. First of all, we have to understand this, and the single movement of this body is because of Krishna. Krishna has entered into our body, God has entered into our body. Our body is one lok. God had entered into each and every planet, and God has entered into each and every universe. And in the universe, there are countless atoms, Parmanu. God has entered into them also. As the efficient principle, as the moving principle. If God does not enter, then the Parmanu and the universe, they will lose their individual functionalities. Pretty much like like in this computer program, we have got these micro instructions, and then we have got a giant program itself. So the giant program, is broken down into micro instructions eventually, because the CPU does not understand your program. CPU understands micro instructions. So in both the giant program as well as the micro instruction, and intelligence is driving their shows. Micro instruction also, there is an intelligence. right? When we were in our BTech days, then we were asked to write these micro instruction sets. So that requires intelligence. So the designer, his intellect became the guiding principle, or the efficient principle, moving principle behind that instruction. That is number one. Number two, then the giant programs that eventually were written, they also require intelligence. I mean, if I'm writing a giant program, let's say Ola or Swiggy or all these, there are huge programs for that. Now, IRCTC, huge programs are there. That is one functionality, and eventually when it breaks down, when it into these micro instructions, then that is another functionality. In both of these functionalities, the human being's intellect acts as a guiding principle, right? And listen to this: the CPU understanding and instruction is also being arranged by this human intellect. CPU is a dead element. CPU, how can CPU understand anything? It's dead. So therefore, this human intellect again it ensures that CPU understands, in quotes, the micro instructions. So the giant code or machine code, they all are blessed with the human intellect. And because of that only, these individual pieces of macro code or micro code and CPU itself, they have got their um, moving potency, working potencies. Similarly, this smallest smallest atom has got its functionality. Lots of functionalities are there even in the smallest atom, right? And then Parmanu, in in Vedic literature, Parmanu is the minutest particle, and I think it should not be linked to the modern science atom. It is even subtler, even more subtler, Parmanu. Anyways, Parmanu has got its set of functionalities. Then whatever Parmanu, constitutes, the Parmanus eventually they assemble to form all these various manifestation of the material world, including our bodies and the planets and the universe. So everything has got individual set of functionalities. So all these functionalities are laden with God's intellect. God has entered into each and every such arrangement as their individual functionalities. If God has not been there, his functionality had not been there, or he had not entered, then this would all be a dead show. So God, like a moving principle, he enters, and because of that, the atoms are performing, the whole Vishwa is also performing, all the universes are also performing. And do I make it clear? Are you able to understand this? So similarly, so God is beyond cause and effect, because it is because of God only that both cause and effect are getting their moving potency. God is the only cause, everything else is effect. And then we move one level above, and then we understand actually God is not only the cause. God only is both cause and effect. which essentially means that everything actually is God only. Everything is infested by Krishna's and Krishna's intellect, and Krishna has entered into each and everything, even the cause and the effect. Each and every cause and effect are essentially Him only, his various manifestation. So the examples that various all the acharyas are giving are that classic example of suvarna and various ornaments and vessels which are made of suvarna, gold. So using gold, one can produce so many ornaments, right? So many ornaments are there, right? Bangles, necklaces, and with gold only, then we have got gold thali, then gold kalash. Uh, in ancient times, they used to have. I mean, can you imagine people having gold kalash now? Very difficult. So, anyway, so suppose with the gold, if if you make these many things, so these many things start being counted by various names. We say that it is necklace, it is gold necklace, it is gold bangle, it is gold thali, all these things we say. But where is gold gone? So gold is right there in front of our eyes, right? Um, Gold is right there in front of our eyes, but we rather refer to that as necklace or bangle or pots. I think we will take a humble position and rather use the example of clay and the potter and the various vessels. The potter uses clay to make various vessels, various pots, glass, earthen pots, then ghada, pitcher, you know. So when we go to a clay shop, rather utensil shop, clay utensil shop, we ask for these these things. We say, "ये घड़ा देना, ये glass देना मुझे." We don't say कि मिट्टी देना. Even though that clay is in front of us, right? But we don't say that कि मुझे मिट्टी दे दो ये. We rather resort to various names, naam roop vibhiden phalgavya cha kalya krita, naam roop. So because of the naam and roop, because it's not just the clay, the naam and roop and the design by the potter, they have all infested, they have all entered in the subtlest form in the clay being the material. And then all these manifestations came into existence, and then we start calling them by their names. But the clay is there. Just imagine the clay. Just imagine a ghada. Suppose if you bring a ghada at your home and a ghada gets broken, the ghada is no more there, but the clay is still there. Okay. Then, and even when the ghada was not existing in the first place, I mean, even when the potter hadn't made a ghada, even then clay existed, right? So the clay is the mitti, the clay is beyond. Uh, it's beyond. It's not temporary. It's not a temporary manifestation like the ghada, like the pitcher. So therefore, the word which has been used here is in the shloka, Sattvanam. Sattvanam Dhruvam. He is permanent. All these manifestations, they are temporary, but Krishna is permanent. He is both the efficient principle as well as the material principle. He is both the material and as well as the efficient principle. For example, in the case of the potter, when the potter is using the clay to make pots, okay, so now just listen to me very attentively. So in the ghada is not existing. but the clay is existing. Okay, but in the potter's consciousness, the ghada is existing. Are you able to appreciate the ghada? Physically it may not be manifest, but that picture uh, it is still there. It is very much there in its design form, in the conscience of the potter. So therefore Krishna is, therefore when I say he's both cause and effect, that's the idea, sattva nam, right? Actually there is a pool called as the pool of all causes and effects, because actually everything is just an effect only. God is a pool. He's a pool of all these various manifestations. And it is because of our ignorance here that we kind of call something as cause and call something as effect, because we see a kind of a chronology linking them together one after this. We see a subsequent chronology, right? We see kind of a chain. So we say that that this comes first, so this is a cause, and this came later, so this is the effect. But actually both cause and effect, they are existing together in the pool, namely Krishna. And so therefore sattva nam means God is beyond cause and effect. So that is a very initial phase. We start with this, that um, God is a cause of everything. Then we say that God is both beyond cause and effect. Then we proceed further and we say, "Array, God is not only beyond cause and effect, God himself is both cause and effect." And in this way we go further and further and further. So these are all very, these shlokas, they require a lot of such thinking. So Krishna is beyond all the definitions, and in fact he is the foundation of all the definitions. So Prabhupada is saying that everything is coming from Krishna, right? All these atoms, universes, they're coming from Krishna only. Krishna being the macro as well as the micro designer. And not only the design, the materials are also coming from Krishna. For example, in the case of the potter, though the designs and all those things were coming from the potter, but the clay was not coming from the potter. But still, it serves as an example. Actually, nothing can serve as an example to understand the work of Krishna, because he is the most foundational. Krishna is the foundation of all foundations, subtler than the Parmanu. Is subtler, not even in the Parmanu, is subtler than even the living entity. The soul is even subtler. Soul is even subtler than Parmanu, right? Because we understand that even subtler than Parmanu are these subtle elements, namely Man, Buddhi, Ahankar. Soul is even subtler, and even subtler is God. So, as the micro engineer, Krishna has entered as a functionality, as a micro functionality into each and every atom, and these atoms are coming from Krishna. Then Krishna has entered in as the macro functionality of the whole universe, and the universe itself is coming from Krishna. All the universes are coming from Krishna. Actually, everything is infested by Krishna. Everything is Krishna only. But because Yogmaya has hidden him, Yogmaya, Yogmaya does not reveal such a precious Krishna to ineligible us so freely. Only pure devotees can see him everywhere. So, because Yogmaya, because of our Bhog Pravriti, because of Bhog Pravriti, we start classifying everything, right? And this thing will serve me like this thing will serve me like this thing is not going to serve me anything, so I'll reject it. This I will accept in this fashion, this fashion, this fashion. In this way, the whole thing is classified. I can give one simple example. For example, the diamond and the graphite, if I'm not wrong, it's graphite, right? Diamond and the graphite, they are both carbon. And so in a pool of carbon atoms, you know, if there is a pool of carbon atoms, so using Vishesh, which means classification, categorization, that one manifestation is called as graphite and another manifestation is called as diamond, right? But actually, both are carbon only. So the living entity picks up graphite and picks up diamond and classifies them, you know, classifies them accordingly for his bhog pravritti. I will use graphite for pencils, I will use diamond for ornaments. But actually, everything is carbon only. So the Gyan says that everything is Krishna. This is this he has like everything is Krishna only. But because of our bhog pravritti and this, we see them as various manifestations. But however, the devotee is a wonderful person. The devotee employs all these various manifestations accordingly in the service of Krishna. So this is the idea, the consciousness, it is a consciousness only which is breaking down all this pool of Krishna's only, all this pool into various elements. So a kami person, a bhogi person will consider this universe, or I'm speaking slowly because it is a serious matter. This universe, it will break down, but being contaminated with the spirit of duality. So he will accept something, he will reject many things, right? Then further level is that of seeing everything as Krishnamaya, that everything is Krishna, everything belongs to Krishna, everything, Krishna has entered into everything. That is definitely a very beautiful situation, beautiful position. But the devotee is actually even one more level ahead. He sees everything as Sevamaya. Sevamaya means he sees Seva in everything. He sees that whatever all these things are there, they are just the various energies of Krishna, and there are various properties of Krishna. So I must use graphite in this way to Krishna, and I must use diamond in this particular way for Krishna, right? So devotee devotee भी जो है विशेष classify करता है, but unlike bhogis and unlike gyanis, devotees जो है eventually सेवा में जाके जो है वो उसका जो कॉन्शियसनेस इवेंचुअली सेवा में जाके जो है वो कोलैप्स हो जाता है. कोलैप्स मीन्स इट फाइंड्स अ रिसोर्ट इन सेवा. सो फॉर अ डिवोटी द विशेष इज देयर, classification is there, but ultimately that classification, ultimately they all are routed towards seva. And in this way devotee's consciousness is therefore a very very beautiful consciousness. That's how that Maharaj Chitraketu is building up his prayers, and he's saying that uh, that the whole he's so in this sloka, Maharaj Chitraketu is saying that that Krishna's intellect and Krishna's macro and micro insertions, his macro and micro engineering is are they are pervading everywhere, and because of Krishna only that everything is running and everything is coming from Krishna. Thank you very much. Uh, though I presented many things, but I think if I say them out, then it may become even more complicated. So let me keep it this much simple only. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for this wonderful class. Yeah, if any of the participants is having any question regarding today's class, they can raise the hand and ask His Grace Srikant Prabhuji. Yes, Roshan Prabhuji, please.
Dandot Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Prabhu, very nice class, and I was really very much amazed by the way you told. So it's just a small thing,
Thank you very much.
a small comment that Zero Daksha Vishnu, that you told that Krishna resides in every atom, isn't it? So there are
Yes.
innumerable atoms. So Krishna is present in every atom. So all the potentialities of the atom is because of Krishna only.
Yes.
Like we read about atoms, the various models like Bohr model, Rutherford model, these and that. But why the atom is stable? People say that because of some stationary state, quantum mechanics, they are stable, they don't collapse. But yeah, that could be, means ultimately Krishna is residing here and controlling. So it's a mercy of Krishna to go inside every atom. So please tell few lines about this.
Thank you very much. That Krishna, the atom has come from Krishna, and the functionality of the atom has also come from Krishna, right? So there are two things, the material as well as the efficient principle. Both are Krishna only. Both are coming from Krishna. In fact, both are Krishna only. So unfortunately, we don't see this person Krishna, and we remove Krishna and then we try to understand things. So that is not possible. If we remove the foundation, if I remove the foundation of this building, then how can I live in this building? Are you understanding? So Krishna's potency. So it's very easy for them to remove the persons. When they can remove the person from their from animals, right? Animals, they don't have souls, so we can send them to slaughterhouses. Then they will go even further level down, that life has come from matter. So this is all, if you see carefully, this is all being induced by their bhog pravritti. They just want to remove Krishna from everywhere. In the smallest atom also, the Krishna only, he is present as atom, right? Krishna, atom is Krishna, right? But if you use, then definitely, then if you use Vishesh, then because we understand that Shakti is non-different from Shaktiman, but then if you use Vishesh, then that is very beautifully explained in the Tattva Sandarbha by Jeev Goswami ji. If you use Vishesh, then there is a differentiation, a kind of a classification between Shakti and Shaktiman. Then we say that atom comes from Krishna, and then Krishna enters into that atom as the guiding, as the moving principle. And in atom also there are so many things, electrons and all these various all these particles are essentially nothing but they're Krishna only. It is like Uh, are you understanding what I'm trying to say? That is the idea. So it's Krishna only. For example, uh, you know about this concept of Turing machine. I mean, this our program is a machine, right?
Yes.
So the machine can be fed as an input in a machine which produces another machine as an output. I mean, do you see the beauty? A program can be fed as an input to a program, and that program may now generate another program. So this is the idea behind Turing machine and this universal Turing machine, in which the program itself becomes as an input to a program, and that program another program comes as an output. So it's a world of programs. In this similar fashion, this is actually everything is Krishna only, and it is like everything is Krishna in the universe. Everything is universe में जो uncountable laws हैं, universal के laws हैं, वो भी कृष्णा के ही acts हैं. Universe is coming from Krishna, and the uncountable laws of universe, they are coming from Krishna, and uncountable laws which are present in the atom are also coming from Krishna only. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
You want to add something? It might be missing something. You as a scientist, you can say more.
Yeah, I just reminded that in CERN, in a Large Hadron Collider, what they do, they smash atoms and want to see the subatomic particles inside atoms. So they are still searching out fundamental particles. So, but it is not possible to know Krishna through some collisions, and because he is beyond our. So that's all, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yes, thank you, Roshanji, for the question. Yeah, there is a question by Mr. Akash Thore in the chat. So if
Wow,
God is
that's a big
there,
question.
yeah, if God is there, then every atom and every living being, then why the consciousness aspect is varying?
Hmm.
Because God is there and He is the same God everywhere. So then why this variation of consciousness is there?
So these things, they lack consciousness, the atoms and our bodies. But because of insertion of Krishna, they all are Chalayaman, right? This should give us a hint of Krishna present. Even though the atom is dull, inert, but then still so many things are happening in the atom. Why? Right? So this should give us a presence. This should give us a hint of Krishna's presence. Our body is dead matter actually all the time. Even now also it is dead. But still our body is chalayaman, is moving. So then definitely people give the people say that it's because of the presence of soul. But when we understand, we say that actually it is because of the presence of Paramatma that our body is moving. Anyways, so it gives us a hint of the moving principle, right? And the body is never conscious, right? We are conscious of this body, and Krishna is conscious of all the bodies, and Krishna is conscious of all the universes, and Krishna is conscious of all the atoms in all the universes. But the atoms, universes, the bodies, they themselves don't have consciousness. So you are आपके question में you are saying that then why don't we see consciousness in the atoms and molecules? Because you think you see consciousness in your body. Actually, body is not conscious. You are conscious of the body. So anyways, but you may not be seeing consciousness in the atom, but if you go to scientists, they will see so many things moving in atom. That's why these big scientists, I'm not remembering the quotes, some scientists say now that in atom also he saw, what was that quote, Sanatan Prabhu? In atom also he saw something there. Yeah. So was that helpful? What is the question? Let me see. So atoms or molecules should have a tinge of consciousness. Yeah, they have a tinge of consciousness. They are not consciousness. They themselves are not conscious thing, but Krishna is conscious of these things. But the various movements in them, the various functionalities in them should give us a hint of, should infer to us that a conscious someone is present who is driving the show. But we don't see anything like that, or maybe it is there, but due to our blunt senses, we are able to see that. Is that right to say so? Yeah, it is because of our blunt senses. Only when our senses, only when our eyes are filled with love, premanjan, chakshu, when our eyes are smeared with love of bhakti, Shuddha Bhakti, then we will appreciate the presence of Krishna in everything, in everyone. Then we will appreciate that life comes from life, matter also comes from life. Then we will appreciate that in animals also there are souls. And then we will appreciate that all other living entities also have soul. Krishna is there in everyone, and I should not hurt anyone. And then we'll appreciate that Krishna is everywhere. And then we go, there is no end to it. Then we say that everything should be used in service of Krishna. Hare Krishna. Actually, you are only
Yeah,
repeating my words. You are saying Krishna. That's what I also said.
yeah, I
Did I
think like,
say anything contradictory?
no, nothing like that. I think he is confusing between the consciousness of the soul and consciousness of the super soul.
There is no confusion. Our consciousness is a gift from Krishna. Why are we conscious of this body? Because Krishna wants us to be conscious of this body. If Krishna does not want us to be conscious of this body, we'll leave this body, then we are not, we are conscious of some other body. And we are, how much conscious are we of this body? Are we completely aware of this body? No. We are like
Yeah,
tenants. For example, I am living in this small room. So I have been sanctioned by the owner to live only in this much area. But the big home or the huge building, right? That is not my area. So similarly, in Tattva Sandarbha, Jiva Goswami is saying that without Paramatma, the Atma cannot be even conscious of his body, his senses, even himself.
yes, thank you, Prabhuji. We do have two more questions and time is running out, so we'll proceed.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, Roshanji, please.
No question, Prabhu.
Okay, yes, Govind Maharaji, please.
Hare Krishna Maharaj Ji.
Hare Krishna, Srikant Prabhuji, thank you
Dandavat.
very much for very absorbing and very connecting to the consciousness. And still, intellectually, we establish Krishna as both the cause and effects, or the duality of cause and effect should not exist even. But as long as intellectualism is involved, it's the very nature of intellectualism, because it is material. The separation is inevitable. And so the insistence on the part of an intellectual being, all of us, is to establish is our beginning, is the beginning to us. But in total spectrum, Krishna being everything in everything, he's Anadir Adir, beginningless and beginning simultaneously. So ultimately, our consciousness, without appreciating that I am part of Krishna, that's it. Intellectualism will haunt me to figure out my independent relevance and to establish that I am the way and beginning and everything, because intellectual is looking for every cause, and this has haunted since eternity all intellectualism, intellectuals, human beings, to establish one's position even within this universe, even when the connection to Krishna is established and glorified, everything. Still, the tendency is to stand out. Rather, Krishna stands out. All in all, if there's a quotient of 100 points, who stands out? Krishna will take all 100 points. But only it is intellectualism where one is trying to establish oneself. Even in relation to Krishna, as if I know Krishna, as if I can analyze Krishna, and all such things. And somehow or other, this lingering to figure out my own goals. So my question, comment for you to elaborate is that how to transcend this intellectual gymnasium, where one has to, actually rather it's the solution, one has to appreciate oneself as being part of Krishna, rather than figuring out how I began and how I am the way, the condition I am. How connection or Krishna consciousness frees us from this intellectualism, because it will block our wholesome consciousness to appreciate Krishna. Because if I think I can appreciate or I can know just to establish that how special I am, then we lose the point, focus of Krishna, who is all there to take over, engulf our love consciousness, seva. So that's why when you establish it towards the end, that was very beautiful, that those who are devoted to Krishna, those who are lovers or sevaks of Krishna, they are totally removed from this notion. They are totally having fun being with Krishna, being part of Krishna, rather than trying to stand out intellectually or physically or in any other way, because they are part of Krishna. That's more than everything else, isn't it?
Servants of Krishna.
Yes.
That's a very beautiful insertion by Maharaj. Yes, always. Thank you so much. That has also given me some more food for thoughts. You see, I once given this example, like when a mother makes laddu for her son, and so she's using all the principle of intelligent design and fine tuning while making the laddus. This much ghee, this much sugar, this much ratio. So there is mathematics in the laddu and science also. All those things are there in the laddu. So Gyanis will just will be stuck only this kitna ratio hai, kitna ye hai, when they are trying to assess and peruse the laddu. Um, but the son, he will ask the question, why my mother chose this ratio only, and this much fine tuning only, and this much shakkar only, this much ghee only. Then when he addresses to this question, why, then he will see the real reason is his mother's love. And then when he sees his mother's love lying in the laddu, not only in the laddu, behind the mathematics, then his heart will be, he will be crying. Similarly, when a scientist, saint scientist, इनफैक्ट बहुत सारे साइंटिस्ट हुए हैं सेंटली क्वालिटीज़ के साथ. हम लोग भी पास्कल का पढ़ रहे हैं, मैक्स प्लैंक एंड ऑल दिस वंडरफुल साइंटिस्ट. एंड अगर एक डिवोटी साइंटिस्ट हो, एंड इफ ही गोज इन द लैब एंड ही स्टडीज द एटम, and then he understands all these mathematics in the atom, but then that's what will separate a devotee scientist from the normal scientist. Normal scientists, I think they will not ask this question why, but the devotee will ask why Krishna present in the atom is driving the show in this fashion, why? And then he will understand, because he loves me so much, Krishna loves me so much, that he is that there is fine tuning in the universe, that there are fine tuning, there are constants in the atom. It is his love only. And then when he sees the love in the atom, not only the mathematics, that's what I think mission of Bhaktivedanta Institute is, to see the love. When he sees the love of Krishna, even for his rebellious children, us, then that atom will become a source of emotions, and the lab will become a temple. The laboratory will become a temple. And then that devotee scientist will become a devotee, and then he will use the atom also in service of Krishna by glorifying Krishna. So in this way, when we employ each and everything in service of Krishna, addressing every time to this why question, why Krishna has made these laws in this way, and somehow in the association of devotees, if we get the answer is because he loves us so much, then the whole world will be, and each and every law, the law of gravitation, law of friction, the three whatever laws of motion by Newton, and all this plethora of laws, we'll not see only laws, we'll see love. And then we see Krishna's love, and then Krishna, and hence Krishna present everywhere.
Wonderful.
Very beautiful.
Hare Krishna. Though it is time, but can I have the audacity of requesting His Holiness Brahspati Maharaji to add something, so that if I am missing some part, maybe his addition will fulfill the whole story.
Yes, Maharaji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Dandavat
Nothing
Pranam
is
Maharaji.
there. Nice. In between, I was little had to go for medicine and other things, so I'm not very continuous.
Yes.
Yeah. Is it my hand raised by mistake or what?
No, Maharaji, our Srikant Prabhuji requested you to speak something.
Nothing, Prabhuji. Nice scientific sloka you got today.
Okay, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Maharaji. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes like people used to confuse between these things like energy and life. So those are two different aspects. Yeah.
Using vishesh, they are different. Right? शक्ति और शक्तिमान में मटेरियल डिफरेंस नहीं है ये, लेकिन जब विशेष यूज करते हैं डेफिनेशन का, देन देयर इज अ डिफरेंस. शक्तिमान इज अ possessor, Shakti is possessed. So devotees, they are very expert, and they use that vishesh to put things in the correct most direction, that the things, all these things are energy only. Actually, all these things are supposed to be used in service of Krishna, including the universe and the atoms. So in this way, they are able to link each and everything to Krishna. So there is a difference, because each and everything can be used in service of Krishna. Krishna is the enjoyer, but there is no difference because everything is being linked to Krishna. So this is Achinta Bheda Ved.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji, if there is nothing more to say, we can conclude. Yeah, Maharaji, please.
So that's beautiful point. So that means ultimately to become obsessed, overwhelmed with the incessant thought that I'm Krishna's, you know? And and Krishna is so benevolent, Krishna is so most lovable, Krishna is most caring, Krishna is most just, and nothing escapes Krishna's attention as far as my well-being is concerned. So then I should be left with no complaint, since Krishna is that capable to be in control all the times. So that way I can experience the sense of total happiness and resolve that I'm part of Krishna. What else I need?
Hmm.
You know? Of course, then everything else, everyone else as an individual is also perceived as playing a role, as part of Krishna, not separated or independent of him. And that relevance that I am, however small or insignificant, I can think of myself in the total existence, doesn't matter, but I am part of Krishna and I'm being played. And I'm being utilized by Krishna for his sake. So that relevance is very essential or not?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Maharaji. Yes, Srikant Prabhuji. Shall we conclude?
Yeah, we should conclude. I like to very humbly, maybe, what shall I say, encourage everyone. Maybe they can take an assignment. Everywhere they see Krishna and Krishna's love. And for example, Mataji's, after this class, when they are going in the kitchen, they see Krishna and Krishna's love in the fire, and scientists, when they go to their lab, they see, for example, Radha Govind Prabhu will let him see Krishna and Krishna's love in the photons. Nilmada Prabhu can see Krishna's love in his chemicals, and I will see Krishna's love in the delicious prasadam. So thank you very much. I want to keep it easy for me. So thank you very much for attending to this. And now I like to take permission. Jai Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki.
Jai.
Who's preparing the prasadam today?
Some servant of Krishna. Krishna has sent someone. I don't know. I think Jayadev Prabhu. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki.
Jai.
Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
पतित पावन श्रीपाद महाराज की
जय,
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 अनंत
जय।
कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय हो, जय
जय।
हो, जय हो, जय हो।
His Grace Srikant Prabhu ki jai.
Jai, jai, jai.
Yes, thank you all for joining. See you all in tomorrow's class. Hare Krishna.